What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we got to do our Gamescom predictions live stream. I was kind of coming up with some ideas in my head of what to do. I was thinking about maybe talking about Mafia, the old country, but I thought, oh my dear God, Gamescom is this upcoming Tuesday. So why don't we put together a little show and talk about Jeff Keighley actually tweeted this morning, what is for sure going to be there, and then talk about, what I think could potentially be there and what probably definitely won't be there, right? There's some games that you just know forever, will not be a Gamescom, but, hopefully it's a pretty good show. I'm probably going to make a video separate to this and go over my predictions there, but same kind of approach, at least in the opening, remembering that Gamescom primarily is kind of like an update show. It can do some cool stuff. It's kind of just which games they're updating do you care about? And then if you care about a lot of them, then I think you're in for like a good show. Like Silent Hill F, right, is going to this one. And a couple others we'll get to in this video or the stream. But, like if you're into those games and you're into some of the fall stuff, then you might be pleasantly surprised or pleased because, there'll be some trailers and some stuff on games that you like. If you're looking for like 10 new reveals, that's just not, going to happen. Dark Hunters, what's going on? Love the profile picture. That looks pretty sweet. Of course, there's like the usual suspects of like, I don't think Wolf Among Us 2. I would love that to appear there, but for them to kind of go out of their way and go to Gamescom feels kind of, odd that they would do something like that. Marvel's 1943 Rise of Hydra is a game that keeps popping in my head over the last couple of weeks of like, I'd really like to see it there, but I also feel like it would have to be like that one big thing or the last thing of the show in order to, like actually make an impact. So probably would take the under on that. The one big one that I actually think is going to be there and is probably like the surprise game. So again, like whether you're like if you don't want it or you don't care about it, and then to know potentially that like that is the big game potentially of Gamescom, that would be quite disappointing. I think it's going to be the Lego game, Lego Batman or whatever it might be. That's what I feel like is going to appear there, and that's like the big thing. And then like I would have said Crimson Desert. Like Crimson Desert is going. Crimson Desert, I actually think just got gameplay today. I'll probably do a video on it later. But, Crimson Desert is going, but, like, you're not going to get a date. In fact, I think they said that in the investor thing that's just not going to happen, right? And I look at Jeff Keighley's thing. So, like, COD, Black Ops 7. See, like, that's one where you get a release date, and I don't care too much about it. Resident Evil Requiem, like, that's huge. And, we already have a date, so it's really just, whatever gameplay impressions and impressions just in general that people have as they play it. Ghost of Yote, probably the same thing. People are able to play it, have some fun, get some impressions from that. Ninja Gaiden 4. I think Ninja Gaiden 4 and maybe Ghost. I know a bunch of these are getting trailers. Like I think Resident Evil Requiem is specifically getting a trailer. Silent Hill F is, I think specifically, they tweeted on their own, specifically getting a trailer. Ninja Gaiden 4, Outer Worlds 2, World of Warcraft, more, obviously Fallout Season 2, and then that Expedition 33 music performance. It's interesting he's doing the music performance for Expedition 33 at Gamescom, is I really thought that would be the big thing potentially at the Game Awards, how they've done like Herald of Darkness and churches, doing Death Stranding all those years ago. I felt that would probably be what they would do, is do Expedition 33, that soundtrack live at the Game Awards, but I guess that's not going to happen because I don't think you would do Gamescom and over there, right? Chances of Spyro 4, I'd say pretty low to probably non-existent. I wouldn't expect that one. Hyper and Rex, what's going on, buddy? Star Wars, like, was it Zero Company, which is the next Star Wars game, I guess. I am very excited for that game. If that's the game you're talking about, I would be very pleased with that game. Silksong, yeah. So that's a tough one. I think Batman, Lego Batman is like the big thing. I think Silksong potentially, to many people, including even maybe myself, if it gets a release date at Gamescom, I think that becomes the biggest story. So I would like that. I think honestly we're in range because like, and I don't keep up with it too much. So correct me if I'm wrong, but like the Xbox, Rogue or ROG thing, did it get a leaked date or was it actually confirmed? But either way, it's coming out like mid-October, right? So coming out mid-October. And remember, we heard from them, back at the Xbox showcase back in June. is that Hollow Knight would be, I think they said Hollow Knight would be playable by the time that console comes out. So if they're releasing that Ally mid-October, that means Hollow Knight is already out so I feel like Hollow Knight is coming out sometime in October, like beginning to end. And I feel like we're absolutely in range for them to say something now, because it's 2 months away. 2 months from now we could be playing Hollow Knight. So I think that's a great call. I hope I wouldn't have forgotten about Hollow Knight. What's going on, Damien? Oh, that would be sweet. Dante's Inferno. How these remasters aren't greenlit. I know. I mean, well, we learned a little bit about behind the scenes of like EA and Dragon Age, right? From Mark Dara a few days ago or last weekend. Yeah, the God of War thing specifically is just like such easy money. It's EA that did Dante's Inferno, right? Well, actually, there you go. EA, we know from what he said, like remasters and remakes, but God of War, I will continue to stand on. Like, that's one that I can't believe hasn't happened or won't happen. I mean, I got really excited about the possibility until it turned out. And I'm still excited. I'm excited for that Metroidvania, side scroller God of War game. I think that could be really, really cool and is like an interesting thing to do. But I probably would have preferred like a remastered collection over that. I'll take either though, Black Flag remaster. See, there's been obviously so much talk. I feel like that could happen at any time. It honestly could even be like a state of play, like when PlayStation does a state of play, probably in September. I wouldn't be shocked if they showed it there, or Gamescom. I think I'm kind of expecting the Lego game, whether it's Batman, the movies, or something else. I'm expecting a Lego game. I don't want to say I'm expecting a Hollow Knight release date because that's kind of extreme, but I think it's probably like 70-80% likely. Black Flag, I think I'd put like 50-50. Those are kind of and those are all three big things, right? And then I would say kind of Rise of Hydra, Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. That's probably not 50-50. That's probably like 30-70. Not happening is 70, happening is 30, Arkham Asylum, Local Roco port. Well, now we're just throwing things. I still think it's probably, I don't know. I have no insider information. I know we've heard from supposed insiders that Rocksteady is doing Arkham Asylum. I do think that actually makes the most sense. I've not heard about it. If I did, I would try to let you guys know best I could, but I've not honestly heard about it. So I personally think it's probably 50-50, if not maybe 55-45 that Rocksteady does in Arkham Asylum. But but it's still years away, even if they are doing it, I still don't think it's going to happen for a long time. Oh, I wouldn't get excited. I wouldn't, because Ghost of Yotei is going. And again, remember Gamescom. This is the kind of comment. And I mean, look, I don't want to stop the belief, because I think when Wolverine reappears, people are going to be really, really excited, including myself, and I want to cover it. But remember, Gamescom is more of an update show. And I guess, Wolverine, you could argue, would get updated, but it's more of an update show for the games coming out in the next like 6 to 8 months. Okay. And Ghost of Yotei is going. So I don't think you're going to show Ghost of Yotei, have the spotlight on it. That's PlayStation's big fall game. And then also show Wolverine. I would say Wolverine is like a must at a PlayStation like September thing. If they even do like 50% first parties, 50% third parties, Wolverine has got to show up at one of these stupid state of plays. So that's kind of my opinion on that one. And the Loco Roco thing, that I would not, by the way, which is an odd bring up, but I would not be surprised if Bandai Namco, because they've done like, oh man, what have they done? Freedom Wars and then Patapon, right? Those are the two that they've done. I would not be surprised if Bandai Namco is working with PlayStation on probably that Gravity Rush remaster, as well as like Loco Roco, I think fits that alley of like Patapon, Freedom Wars, stuff like that. So I would not rule it out. Plus, it was in Astrobot, so it's not like forgotten about. And that comes out September 4th, September 5th. So I think that's pretty possible. I think because we have like one trailer, right? We got a trailer back at the June thing, but it wasn't like a super long one, Yeah, no, I'd honestly be excited if there's like I will be excited if it's a Lego Batman game. I will be excited about. I'm just saying, if I've seen people, online being like, well, I have no interest in the Lego game. So like if that's the big game of Gamescom, you could see how some like I think that'd actually be cool. Like if we walked out with Lego Batman and Hollow Knight, I would be totally fine with that. And I think many people would not, because it's like it's only specific audiences, right? Would be pumped for it. There was that belief that Black Flag would come out the fall, and then there was a lot of talk of it being pushed into the spring. And then now, I think with things ramping up, I feel like the fall is like back on like the table. I would say no personally. Like remember like Ubisoft after Outlaws and then after Assassin's Creed, they've like internally delayed like everything just to make sure like that polish is there. So I would say like you would be rushing it out if you're getting it in like November, which would be probably the earliest, right? You're probably rushing it to get it in November. So honestly, if it's like a February, March game, there's a lot of February, March games I feel like in my head. Resident Evil is like the confirmed one, but I think a lot of games will end up there. I would not be shocked if Assassin's Creed was like a February, March thing. Sands of Time. Yep. I mean, they keep saying like soon, right? Or the not too distant future, whatever, like the phrases that they use. So could see it like Game Awards or again, like a PlayStation show. I think, Assassin's Creed and Prince of Persia are both up. Those are up next. Max Payne 1 and 2. No, I think I've led the charge, I feel, in that belief that Max Payne could come out next year, but I feel like more and more people are saying, it's 2027 for Max Payne. So I think next year we would see it. I bet you at a Jeff Keighley. Remember, Alan Wake 2 was announced at the Game Awards, right? So, I wouldn't actually put it past this December. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if this Game Awards we didn't get. I don't want to do double negatives. I wouldn't be shocked if it happened. At this Game Awards, we saw Max Payne 1 and 2. If not next year. Next year for sure, because I think it comes out no later than 2027. Starfield to PS5. Didn't they? There's like the back and forth of like how soon they would announce that, right? I don't know. Would they announce that at Gamescom? That would be pretty interesting, but they could. Something for Kingdom Hearts 4. Yeah, I kind of doubt it. Sadly. Next From Software announcement. Yeah. Well, they have the there's that Switch 2 exclusive. What's it called? I forget what it's called, but that comes out next year, right? So that's technically the next thing from them. Oh, I see. Yes. Yeah, I think it needs to. I think Wolverine, like I'm in the camp that like enough is enough. This September will be 4 years. I mean, happy 4-year anniversary, right? 4 years since we saw Wolverine this September. So I'm with you. I'm sorry, but yeah, I thought you meant like Gamescom. Gamescom, like I said, is more of an update show, more of like games that are coming out pretty darn soon. Wolverine, but yeah, September, I think you show it personally. Yeah. I sometimes forget that oh my god, well now I forget the name. The Transformers game, whatever it was freaking called. That it was canceled. I sometimes forget that it was, that it was canceled. Sometimes I think, oh, I can't wait for that game. And then I remember, oh shoot, they shut it down. I would say yes, like I'd say the average is yes to that. Gamescom is always Jeff's weakest show. I think he's had a couple really bad summer game fests, and the Gamescoms have been better. But I think like net average, yeah, you're right. Taladia, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. If you guys aren't subscribed to this guy, great creator. We've gone back and forth many a times. And as soon as DC gets their act together, I'll have him on the channel for sure. But I appreciate you being here, man. Make sure you guys stop by his channel too. Yeah, no, I would love a Batman one. Lollipop Chainsaw 2 teaser trailer. I personally don't think they'd be like far enough in. Well, you know what? I'm gonna not say that because not that I know anything, but my first thought was too early, right? But at the same time, you do get a lot of games that are announced and they have that CG trailer, and it's like the first month of it's like their first homework assignment, right? Like that's the first thing they turn in. They don't actually have a game. I would not say here. I think the Game Awards or some random thing, I would not put it at 0% that we get a Lollipop Chainsaw 2 trailer that's simply CG and the game is still 3-4 years away. It's just the start. I would not be surprised if that happened. Probably not here, but I think that you could get it at some point. 007, that's a great one. That's a great one. You got to think about games that have promised, that's a good one. And I keep forgetting about that, honestly. Games that have promised gameplay or to show it off again that haven't done it, right? I believe 007, they said you would get gameplay this summer. I think they even said this summer. Saros, if you remember, is getting gameplay this year, later this year. So Saros is going to be at the state of play, right? That's locked in. But then 007, yeah, I think you're right. I think that's probably pretty locked in. I think that's pretty darn safe to be a Gamescom thing. Just gonna be a good stealth game. Yeah. I mean, I miss like the Deus Ex's things of the world. Cloud Roth, what's going on, buddy? Glad to see you. Glad to see you. It's been a good week, honestly. Like, I feel good. The channel's been doing good. The Mafia videos are doing great. Twisted Metal freaking rocks. I'm excited. I'm excited about where we're going. Next week is Sword of the Sea. Don't what's the word? Don't ignore that game. Okay, if you have PS Plus, don't ignore Sword of the Sea. I think that game's gonna be beautiful. And I don't actually. I asked for a review code. I don't know if they're doing review codes, but I don't have anything yet. But that game looks like it absolutely rocks, and I cannot wait to play it next week. And it comes out on Tuesday, and that's the same day as Gamescom. And then the week after is Gears of War, Metal Gear Solid, and Lost Soul Aside. And I'm getting all three against my money's wishes, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, like we're in, like we're back. Like I'm very excited about this fall period, and I don't think it'll stop either going into the spring. Oh, Final Fantasy VII Part 3, man. I because I keep thinking about Kingdom Hearts, so that it hurts to know that we probably will see Part 3 before Kingdom Hearts. Like I just think it's gonna happen. I will because I'm never as long as I'm alive and as long as my channels are active, I will not skip a Game Awards. Yeah. I'll be around for Gamescom. Like I'll be trying to watch it. I'll do videos right after. I'll try to pick the 3 biggest things. So if it's Lego Batman, Hollow Knight, Silent Hill, whatever it might end up being, I'll do 3 videos. The next day, the Wednesday, I'll probably do 3 more. Those couple days, I think I'll focus pretty entirely on Gamescom, and then we'll move to Sword of the Sea and other games like that. But yeah, I'll do Game Awards. PlayStation State of Play tends to be later in the day. So depending on what day that means, I pick up my daughter from school and other stuff goes on during the day. So if State of Play is at like a good time, then I could do the State of Play. But definitely mark it in, for me doing the Game Awards. And then I'll be doing my own Game Awards. We'll do that around Christmas time. If you guys watched last year's, I thought it was excellent content personally. But yeah, their Game Awards, my Game Awards. And then we go from there. Dynasty War. Yep. And is it Trails or is it Tales? Tales of Exilia. Tales. A new the Tales remaster, whatever one it is. Dang it, the remaster. They did like the post and it was up for like 1 minute and people took screenshots and they took the post down. People were really, really fast. Well, it depends on what your definition of like what the holy S are. You know what I mean? Like I think Lego Batman would be like, okay, there's one, and then what's the other 2? Nintendo isn't going, right? Because like I really want Metroid's release date, but I don't think it's gonna happen, right? Grace, what's going on? Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Fable. Well, remember again, Ninja Gaiden 4 and The Outer Worlds 2 looks like Xbox's what's not like what they're doing, their volunteer work. So I would probably say no. The thing is, like Fable is an interesting one because like it's almost I almost liken it, not in terms of quality, but like I think of it like Ghost of Yote, how like they really are waiting. I mean, we've seen it, you know what I mean? Like they've been selective of how often we've seen it, when we've seen it, stuff like that. And then it'll ramp up, I think as we go through August, September, and then October. Fable is probably what? Like, it can't be May because of GTA. So like April or June or July. I feel like we see it 1 or 2 more times in the fall somewhere, which could be Gamescom. And then like when we hit next year, then we really, they start to do a deep dive. I feel like they would focus just on Ninja, even though like, I mean, they helped Ninja Gaiden. It's not really a first-party game, but Ninja Gaiden and The Outer Worlds. I think it'll be the Batman thing, personally. Kingdom Hearts 4. I personally don't believe it, but I will never crush the hopes of others. When it comes specifically to Kingdom Hearts 4, I would never do that to you. Is that Venom game real? I personally believe that it's maybe like on hold. That would be like my headcanon. I have nothing that would back that up. I don't know anybody that knows anything about that, but I personally believe that maybe it was real and it's on hold, or something's happened to, like Tony Todd. Obviously, that's a big issue with him passing. So I don't know. Right now, I'm pretty focused with Insomniac just on Wolverine. Like, let's just, what I mean, let's just get Wolverine. Carson, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for stopping by. We still do have Transformers games that I thought we would have already had by now, to be honest with you, these Activision games, but Game Awards this year will H. Don't know what H means, but I think this year's Game Awards should be pretty good. What's going on? How do you say your name? Mariachi? Marioko? Mary Oko. Sekiro. Love it. Love the Fallout profile picture as well. I'm excited. I mean, we know Fallout Season 2 is going. I imagine it's a trailer for Season 2. I can't wait for that. I'm in like, I've been watching more shows than I've really ever watched before. My wife's been watching The Middle, so with the second time we've watched it, I've been watching The Middle. I watched Peacemaker Season 1, Wednesday Season 2, Part 1. I'm caught up on Twisted Metal. I watched every single week. And so I feel good. I feel really, really good about modern TV, but welcome in. Thank you. Anytime. Fallout 5 reveal. That's right. Well, let's get Season 2, and then I don't know. Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. Well, I think Fallout 3 is technically the one that they're working on, right? I don't know. Lego card. That would be cool. The thing is, I think when we think of the Lego games from Traveler's Tale, right? TT Games, it's only going to be one of those 4 pillars. That's why I think the Batman one not only sounded legit, but I've believed it more and more, and I honestly think that's what it's going to be. But like, it can only be DC / Batman, and then like your Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, stuff like that. It's not going to be Cartoon Network. It's not going to be Ben 10. It's not going to be any of that, because can you make a Lego game? But yes, but WB would not do it, right? Like, WB specifically is going to do that 4 pillar thing. So don't expect a Lego game outside of the structure, that they have set. That's what I think. This year, yeah. I mean, every Game Awards, this year, I guess in particular, like, there's a lot of games that are coming up on like their deadline of like, okay, now is the time you should show it. He should always have a good Game Awards. What was that hint you gave in the live stream? Well, it was Prince of Persia, right? And no, I don't know how it ended up on there. Personally, I don't know which one of you put me on there, but I appreciate it, I guess. It gave me a little extra exposure. Did that ever come out officially? No, because very few people, I think, know what I was talking about there. So I'll just leave it at that again. So, yeah, it's still what I was talking about that time still is a thing between only a few people. Something from Naughty Dog, Insomniac, and or Gorilla. Well, how about Sucker Punch because of Ghost of Yotei? I think that's honestly probably it. Jurassic, yeah. Don't expect Jurassic Park because they just got that. Ooh, I think that'd be pretty sweet. I think that'd be sweet. We're coming up on, what? August is, well, this is 6 months, right? So pretty much 6 months after Gamescom, this game comes out. So this pre-order, I don't know. I never really pay attention to when games go from like wish listing to pre-orders and all. Like, I don't really follow it. I made videos for like Hogwarts when it did some of that stuff, and it did well, but I don't really follow it for all games. So I don't know if pre-orders are like open for Resident Evil, if it's just a wish listing thing, but it could be like, because we're going to get more impressions, more eyes are going to be on it. I feel like either they would do it now or they would wait. And then if they're going to do like a Leon announcement, like a special fall Leon announcement, like around October or Halloween or something, then they open up like a collector's edition thing. There's got to be a collector's edition, right? Do we not know? I guess if we don't know what the collector's edition is, then it's gotta have one. It's just, I guess, when they'll do it. Remakes, that's a good one. Could get a random remake that we're not really thinking of. I like that idea. TMNT. I still believe that game is not doing well. We'll just say that. Coping right now, hoping. Yeah. Well, I mentioned earlier. I think it's possible. I would probably bet if I had to bet or you had a gun to my head, I would assume more that it's like put on the back burner than anything else. What happened to Alien? Nothing. I don't think anything that we know of. I think, did they hire a community manager? I think I remember seeing a Twitter post on that. Honestly, maybe then only good things. Because a community manager for a game like that so early is actually kind of an interesting choice that they would even do that. So I don't think I wouldn't get worried about Alien Isolation. It's gonna, but they're so yeah. That's fair. That's fair. Or maybe it only hurts me. I don't know. I would like Kingdom Hearts 2 is I think almost a perfect video game or pretty close to it. Kingdom Hearts 2, Birth by Sleep's really good. I get it. It's kind of hard to jump in. I understand that. Assassin's Creed Black, Final Fantasy 9. Ooh, that's an interesting one. That's a good one. That's actually a good. We haven't talked about that one yet. I don't know what they do at a Gamescom. Maybe. RE demo. I don't think it would be a. Well, I think people did do a demo, and in fact, I think some people probably already did it. Some people will do it because the embargo lifts on the 20th, right? I just don't think we get it, and we might maybe they release this to the public. Maybe we get it closer to launch. But I don't think that we'll get it like that day. Kirby Air Rides would make me so happy. Kirby is one of the. I've played a few. I've played actually more recent Kirby's and then maybe Kirby's of like the mid 2000s. But Kirby's a franchise I've never fully embraced. They did, yeah. They said late this year too, so it's like a November, December type game, and we still don't have a date. I do not watch wrestling. My cousin was into wrestling. He would bring over to my grandma's a like the WWE. So I would play them and I would really like them, but I never I know who Hulk Hogan is. I know who is a Cody Rhodes. And I know John Cena. I know just the normies, but I don't know storylines. I don't know arcs. I don't know eras. I really don't like none of that. But it does interest me. It interests me as somebody who doesn't watch it. I can respect it, I guess is what I'm saying. All right. Yeah. I feel like there's got to be something more RE in the fall, especially if they don't do a Leon thing, then they've got to make that a big deal, right? So there'll probably be something else in the fall. When is Gamescom? It is this Tuesday. Tuesday is the live stream, okay? And then really, I think the next couple days, like the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that's the impressions, that's the previews, that's the people that are there that are able to play the games. So there's not going to be any games that surprise us. It's not like a game is going to announce itself as a play. We've say Sly Cooper, right, gets a brand new game and you can play it on the show floor, but it's not at the live stream. That doesn't happen. Okay, so it's the live stream's a big deal, and then games that we just know are there. Crimson Desert's there, Silent Hill is there, Resident Evil's there. People will be able to play those games, right? So yeah, that's kind of how that's gonna go. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what people say. I think the Tony Todd thing probably. Because don't forget, he didn't just die, he had, I think he had stomach cancers. He had issues that obviously affected him probably that last year. So it's not like he just dropped and they recorded with him the day before and then he was gone. Most likely this is something that obviously you can't do anything now. And when he died, but then maybe even a year before then, he probably was so in and out. So I guess what I'm saying is how much did they actually get to do with him? And then how much was that idea okay, we're absolutely doing a Venom game. How much did that change? Yeah, that guy's a legend. I don't even really watch Final Destinations all that much. I mean, that's just one of his many franchises, but he's very good in it. It's rare to get something as entertaining these days. I think I respect it a little bit more now, a couple weeks removed. I will say I thought it was fine. Season 2, I didn't think it was as good as season 1. And I've seen the trailer that trailer that dropped 2 days ago. Part 2 looks awesome. Looks like a lot of payoffs, and I'm excited. I think so much of it's solid. A lot of characters, and I think Jenna Ortega rocks. As Wednesday. So I'm happy it exists. But I really like season 1, and I thought season 2, part 1 was fine. But I think it'll get better. I think part 2, hopefully, it'll be better. For 5 years, oh my! You see my probably it used to be okay, yeah. Sometimes I remember people. To be honest with you, like I don't recognize the name, but I profile. Sometimes I recognize the profile. Like say like Nick Victory 5. Like this has been his profile for as long as I can remember. So I remember him both for his name and his picture. But some people I remember just for their name and not for their profile. But in some it's reversed. So just kind of funny. Assuming it's not Arkham Asylum, what do you think it is? Just a new Batman game then? Probably in the Arkham. No. Nah, would they really? I think you should probably let the Arkham verse go. Let's just say a new Batman game that's not Arkham. I think it's either Arkham Asylum or a brand new Batman game. Or Dawnwalker. Is that going? Let's look. I forget if it's going. The Blood of Dawnwalker. I'm high on that game. I feel like I'm one of the only ones that's high on that game. I feel like a lot of people just aren't very. Oh yeah, they are. We're excited to be back in Cologne for Gamescom 2025 and to reveal our lineup. They got the Blood of Dawnwalker, Little Nightmares 3. As I remember, Little Nightmares was supposed to be there, and that Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree. Cool. There you go. So yeah, Blood of Dawn. So it'll probably be some playable, maybe what they showed us a few months ago, that night thing, where you fight the villain in the church. Like it could be that maybe. Yeah, good. That's a good one to bring up. Or maybe it's something brand new. I mean, that would be cool if it was like a brand new demo we haven't seen yet. Yeah, I mean, I love Ed, Edd n Eddy, Codename Kids Next Door. Like, I'd be all for like this mix match thing, but it's just not going to happen. It's not going to, at least not from WB. Yeah, I think. Oh man, that's tough. Because if this is like the last big Leon one, would you want a statue? But it's also Grace's first game, so wouldn't you want to say? So it's actually. Do you have both? Do you only have one? That's a tough one. I hear a rumor for a new Batman reveal. Yeah. I think it's pretty set in stone. It'll be a Batman game, and then it's just will it be a remake? I just have said like I can see why a remake makes sense. I understand why you would get to that, but not necessarily if it's the greatest thing. That's an interesting one. So it probably comes out first half of next year. I'll say probably season. So I would say like spring 2025. I think it would, yeah. I think it would show Lego Batman, and at the end it would say spring 2025, not an actual date. That would be my guess there. Hope we see that. Yep, I brought that up in the beginning of the video. I think that's one that I really want. I think that would be like a holy S moment. We'd all be pretty excited for that. I would put that pretty low in terms of possibility, but I want it. And it's honestly, frankly, needed. We need to see that game again. And it's getting kind of worse and worse, as the longer that they wait. I'm keeping up pretty good with you guys, by the way. When do you think we'll get news about John? Oh, man. I think it could be within the next couple months, like hopefully before the end of the year. I pray for the day that I wake up and on Twitter it says, here's the thing though, like if you cast Johnny Depp, that means like you've started, you know what I mean? So like when you would do that, the day we wake up where we see that is the day we wake up and see, okay, here's the title of it, here's what it's called, here's Johnny Depp is back, Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley. And then maybe they announce a couple new names and whether you get like Gibbs back and things like that. But I think you get those main 3 and then you get maybe like 2 or 3 brand new people. And that's all part of like the same announcement. But of course, all anybody's going to talk about is Johnny Depp, as they should. So I think that day is coming. I think that, man, I almost cry. I almost get shivers when I think about that day. I'm so freaking excited for the day we get to see that. Will we ever hear about KOTOR? I've always tried to believe it. I always try to believe that KOTOR is still happening. You see this pen? Oh, you can't. That's weird. I'm holding a pen. Oh, there you go. But the green screen, once we get over here. Weird how this thing works, huh? I honestly am a believer of KOTOR. I am. That's probably like the game that's like the most troubled, like truly. Because we don't really know Wolverine, Venom, right? Like some of those are more mysteries. KOTOR, I think everybody would agree, is a troubled video game. Like Beyond Good and Evil 2 is also a troubled game. I would have more belief on KOTOR than any of those mystery, games that are like in dire trouble. KOTOR is like number 1. What's going on, superhero related? Good to see you. I've been doing good. Last couple weeks, been doing pretty good. I'm tired, but last couple weeks are doing good. How's it going with you? Oh, okay. Saber Interactive, I think. Yes, yeah. No, it's supposed to still be happening. I think if Sly had a new game, well, I would like Game Awards. It would probably be at a PlayStation event, I would say. Ooh, no, new Ghost Recon. That would be an interesting one. They are making one, right? I mean, the rumor is like they're also making like is it Battle Royale or like a live service Ghost Recon, which yay, I guess. Whatever. But no, I think we'll get it. I think we'll get a new one. We'll probably get like a multiplayer centric one and then not a multiplayer centric one. See, I was asking Lucas. I don't know. Is Nintendo going? I actually kind of forgot. I thought Sony wasn't going, but then Ghost of Yotei is going to be there. So, I said earlier, like I would love Metroid Prime 4. Like that's the only thing. Like I really want to know what's going to be this 3D Mario game. But I mean we're not there yet, I guess. So really at this point, it's Metroid. I think eventually we get like Fire Emblem and stuff like that. But right now I think it's Metroid all the way. That's the only one I'm ready for. Evan, what's going on? Torn between watching RE9 and holding off until release. Yeah, I think Tuesday might be where I think when they show Leon, which I'm not saying is Tuesday, like when that happens, if it's Tuesday, if it's in October or November, I think that's where a lot of people will probably make that choice to say, okay, either I've seen enough and I'm done, or they just ride it out, right? And they'll say, okay, I'll just watch everything. That's going to be like the time to do it. Wouldn't be surprised if it, yeah, that would make sense, I think. Oh, yes. That's pretty sweet. I've always wanted to go to one of the major ones. 1 year, I lived the closest to PAX West that I'll ever live. Not super close, and I never went. The biggest ones I went to is the Toronto Fan Expo, which actually is decently big. It has some games, has a lot of like big celebrities that go. That's like the biggest one I go to. The Colorado one was decent, but it's not that big. But I've never been to like one of the big ones, and I kind of want to. But I'm also not an outdoorsy person. Like I don't leave the house. Oh, comic book reporter. Thanks, buddy. I would not expect it personally. I want to, maybe I'll take this time to look to give you a little bit of hope here. Is D23 even happening this year? Or don't they do like an every other year thing or no? Maybe I'm just making that up. Oh, no, it is this year. D23 is held this year from August 29th through 31st. May I just throw in that that's where they announced Pirates 5 and Johnny Depp. That's an aside. But I think, didn't they show, or Hydra, Amy Hennig did a talk at D23 1 year, didn't she? Like 2-3 years ago. So I would not expect that at Gamescom whatsoever, personally. I would keep my eye on that. August 29, what's that, like a Thursday? Friday. It's 2 weeks today, August 29th through 31st. I wouldn't have a high hopes on that for Hydra, but I would watch those dates, the 29th through the 31st, more than I would watch Gamescom. Okay? That answers that question. And then could Injustice 3 appreciate the super chats, buddy. I don't think so. I think they could honestly announce it next year because MK1 just another year older. You don't have to release Injustice 3 next year. I do think Injustice 3 is their next game. I think we see it next year, potentially like Game Awards next year. So talking like a year and a half away, but I think we see it next year, and then probably it's like a 2027 game. That would be my guess there. Okay. Appreciate the super chats, guys. If you do the super chat, I try to read it first, and then we'll go back and we'll talk for another like 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll peace out. What do you think is more likely, a Superman game? Oh, man. From Rocksteady, I think Batman. I would prefer a Superman game, personally. Yes. If you're forced to choose a concept for a DC team-up live service, what kind of game has the chance of sucking the least, assuming it's not a Justice League game? Teen Titans. Like, if it's not, assuming it's not Justice League. Yeah, well, I think you have to think about teams, and I've always pitched the Teen Titans. I think Teen Titans would work. I would personally prefer Teen Titans as a more single-player cooperative type thing, but that would be the one I would try to pitch if I'm forced to. I'm not forced to, so I would not pitch it. But if I was forced, and they haven't. Yeah, 2027. I think. Man, I would like to say we would see it this year. I probably said that in the beginning of this year for Tomb Raider. I think we need to see it next year. I mean, I would have said that this year, though, right? I think we need to see it next year. And then at this point, yeah, it's not coming out next year. I've completely dropped that from my head. Because I've thought about it before. I would not expect that. I would expect, 2027 or later. So, sounds good, buddy. You have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. I don't know why this thing, I'm trying to switch the name. Every time I click, like, on the comment, it takes, like, an extra second to appear, so I don't know what's going on there. What would be your dream pirate game? It would literally be The Witcher 3, but Pirates Edition. That would be, I think The Witcher 3. See, like, Red Dead 2, I've never really given the time that it fully deserves. The Witcher 3 is probably, to me, like, the most perfect open world game that's been created in terms of the characters, the main story, the side stuff is just so good. The world's so good. The combat is probably not incredible, but it's definitely above average. That is my go-to. Like, when I think about how an open world game should be, I think some people would probably go to Cyberpunk. Once that first launch, the original launch happened, I really never gave it another chance. So maybe Cyberpunk to a lot of people would be like one of the best, or Red Dead 2, GTA 6 might be. But I think Witcher 3 is like a perfect example of how a live service, an open world game, would be. So that's how I would pitch a Pirates game, Pirates of the Caribbean, or just Pirates in general, is do the Witcher 3, but make it, instead of medieval, make it Pirates. Xbox, yes. I think we got to, I keep forgetting to check if it's official or not. Got to get the actual date, the official date, which will be mid-October. And hopefully Hollow Knight along with it. Instead of getting a Batman game in the Arkhamverse, I would want a Batman in the Christopher Nolan universe. There was a Batman. Yes, I saw that. I've seen there was a couple minutes of footage for that. So that was pretty sweet. And that was that from Monolith? I think that was Monolith right before they did Shadow of Mordor. So that would be pretty sweet. I think it's just, that one's tough because, like, you got the Reeves, Pattinson verse, and then you have, like, James Gunn's going to do a Batman. It really doesn't make sense from, like, pushing the brand. It wouldn't make sense to go backwards and to do a Chris Nolan thing. It would actually make more sense to maybe do, like, literally Robert Pattinson's Batman in a video game. I don't think I'd want that, but, like, that would make the most in that world. That's what I think they would do. I love 90s rock. So Smashing Pumpkins is my favorite band, and then Blink-182, and then Green Day. I do love actually Taylor Swift, but I like 90s, those are my top 3. But like the Nirvanas, Pearl Jam, but I really stick to those to those 3 quite a bit. And I like game soundtracks. Like, I listen to a lot of game soundtracks for fun, or movie soundtracks. Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack is amazing. Would you? Well, I would. Yeah. Would you want like 1 million subs and to be famous? I appreciate it. I go, not to sound all like gloaty, so I would want it. I would want it because I kind of want to get bigger, but I do appreciate that. And I also would like to believe that I wouldn't lose that side of me. And I also do think some sort of like behind the scenes presence has because I think when you get big and you have like 1 million subs and stuff, there's too many like target back. People say some annoying stuff to me now versus like, what would they do if I was 10 times the size? Plus I got a family, and I think when you get into those like multi-millions even, right? Like, you have people sending you stuff. There's like some bad stuff that goes on, along with good for sure. But, you get more messed up in that, and just more people are watching you, waiting for you to kind of slip and mess up. And I do mess up, kind of all the time, but nobody really cares because it's like, we kind of just understand each other. So yeah, I would like it for like I don't know, to be bigger and to get my name out there, but I don't know if the pros outweigh the cons. I'm okay to be, this way. Superman definitely deserves a game. It does. He does. Superman game, yeah, I'm super hyped for one, but I think unfortunately WB. I think because of James Gunn, I just feel, like it's got to happen. It's going to happen. What's this? Has been thriving for a couple years. You're handling. Oh, well, thank you. I thought that was actually a negative thing. I wasn't going to read it at first. So Well, I'll be honest with you. So I actually take a pill that we did a DNA test several years ago, and we found out that I have my dad's bald, his whole side is bald. But my mom actually carries that gene, even though my grandfather, who's still alive on my mom's side, he has a great head of hair. So I actually have the gene from both of them, which means I'm 100% guaranteed to lose my hair. So I did. I went through the whole process. They told me like how much it would cost to like do hair here. It was a lot of money, like multi thousands of dollars. But you can take a pill that's a couple hundred every year, and it kills the gene, so I don't lose hair anymore. So I can't gain it, but this is like it's not going to keep going as long as I take that pill. So that's a weird, that's probably the most personal I've ever said, but I don't think it's that personal. I'm happy with this. My dad lost his hair at like 22. I'm 29. So to have this still left at 7 years later, I feel pretty good about that. Did you see Viral Mafia Old Country 2? Oh, yeah, I hate that stuff. I just hate that stuff. Is there stuff that, again, you can criticize about Mafia? Yes. But is that the way to do it? Nah. Like trying to compare it to things. When you compare it to things it's not, or you talk about things that it's also just not, right? Like you're trying to make it something it's not. It's you lose me personally. Like I'm not going to really follow you through there because it's just no point. Mafia the Old Country is the way that it is. That's not to say it can't be improved, but to ask it to be something totally different is not fair. It's not fair to it, You like? Yeah, I do. I have most of her CDs. I have quite a few vinyls. I saw her newest announcement. That was fun. I'm not a big fan of like the NFL putting her, like they know that she brings even like increased ratings. I'm tired of like that, but I like her. Do you think there will be? Yeah, I think, and that was mentioned earlier in the stream. I think that's a really good remembering of that. That I think because we were supposed to see gameplay, so I do think that's going to happen. I think that's a good one. What's going on, Dale? I'm doing good. Family's doing good. Hope you are too. Oh my God, on vinyl. Wow, isn't that really expensive? I do not. I have Adore. I have Gish. I don't have Siamese Dream. Melancholy. I have oh my God, Shiny and Oh So Bright when they came back in 2018. So I have like 6. I have a couple Blink ones. I have Dookie from Green Day. And do I have Warning or Nimrod? I have a couple. I have like 5 or 6 from Smashing Pumpkins and then a couple for Blink, including One More Time for Blink 182. But that's cool. I want to know how you got that because Melancholy, I feel like is really expensive to obtain. My dad had Melancholy 95 when it first came out, the double CD. He bought it in 95. He's not even a big Smashing Pumpkins guy, but he liked them enough. He bought it. I have it. So I have the 95, the original. It's not in great shape. I couldn't sell it. I wouldn't want to, but I have the 1995 Melancholy double CD, which is cool. I dread GTA 6. Yeah, GTA 6 is going to be, I'm going to talk about it a lot, but I can understand, like, if it's not your thing, I think you're in for a rough, not just from me, like, I think from the internet, you're in for a rough couple months, My prediction is Abandoned. Oh, yeah. I think I'd like to see him again, to be honest, the snake salesman, or snake oil salesman. I miss him. Hassan, right? Had him. Yeah. Yeah. My dad lost it that early. My one cousin kept his hair somehow. And then my other cousin lost his hair. And he lost it probably 26-ish. My friend, close friend, I went to his wedding last year. I think he shaved his head bald like a year and a half ago. He just gave up because it was like on a thread or living by a thread. He didn't have a lot of hair left. So I've managed because I found that pill. If I didn't have that pill, I think I'd be bald right now, and it would make me very sad. Maybe I should try Mad Max. Mad Max is a pretty good vehicle traversal thing. That's where, like, Witcher, you have Roach, Red Dead, you have a horse, but yeah, good open world. I really like Watch Dogs, by the way. Like Watch Dogs 2014, was it? With the car. Like, I like that. Linkin Park, yes, I do love Linkin Park. Not a fan of this new era, but but I have several of their CDs, and my friend, very close friend, would listen to them like nonstop. He would listen to Linkin Park as I would listen to Green Day growing up, which was like every day nonstop. Like all I did was listen to Green Day. And then I started to broaden my horizon to a little Linkin Park, a couple others. But yeah, no, Linkin Park freaking rocks. There's that string of like kind of like the early 2000s, like those 3-4 albums in a row. I don't know if you really beat that. So they're very good. I love it. You know, Horizon, where's the multiplayer game? I think maybe we see that at a PlayStation event, to be honest with you. That's an interesting one. Mad Max Hero. I didn't like it when it came out. I've seen obviously so many people, turn around on it. I actually bought it. I have it on PS4, I think. So I would like to go back in and try it out. It's going to do some damage. That's true to the industry in a lot of good ways, to be honest. I think it should. I think best story. The thing is, Enzo, like when you go to like best performance, I would think to a lot of Expedition 33. I would think to a little bit of Death Stranding. Like going to Mafia for best performance, I think would kind of be tough. So I think narrative is probably the only chance because it's not open world, but it's not. I mean, it's a story game. Yeah, so I think story or narrative is probably where it stands the best chance to get at least nominated. I like Ben 10 actually quite a bit. I would take a game in a heartbeat. Why can't they do Red Dead 3 or maybe? Yeah, I think. I mean, I will always still say for Bully. I really want Bully, but a fantasy medieval game would be freaking awesome. Final Fantasy VII Part 3 trailer. I don't think we see it here, but we were talking about that earlier. I think we probably see that before Kingdom Hearts 4. So I would say we're probably not. I would say we're not too far. Like, I mean, next February, we're a year and a half, right? It's been a year and a half since Part 2. So I think in the next 6 months, 6 months ish, maybe the Game Awards. To be honest with you, maybe the one last thing at the Game Awards is Final Fantasy Part 3. I would say Watch Dogs 2 is pretty underrated. I actually agree with that. I would agree with that. I hope every multiplayer game gets canceled. I like some. I love Rematch. I think Rematch is a phenomenal game. I'm not. Stupid. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard today, guys. I'm trying to click. It doesn't want to read Hyper and Rex's comment. I don't expect much other than Ninja Gaiden 4, maybe TT Games' next Lego game if it does show up. Fingers crossed. I think that's the big one. Resets the gaming timeline. I think it may reset like open world gaming. I don't know if it would do all of it. Ooh, doesn't deserve the narrative. I disagree. I disagree, but that's okay. That's okay. There's been a handful, Expedition, Mafia, Split Fiction, Death Stranding, Kingdom Come. There's been like 5 at least. Doom: The Dark Ages was really good, just not, I think, elite to me. We've had probably 3 or 4 elite games this year, and then maybe 3, 4, 5 other really, really, really good games. That's pretty, so far, that's pretty good. I would say that's a pretty good, because we're about to get Silent Hill and Ghost of Yotei and Borderlands and Outer Worlds and Ninja Gaiden, SpongeBob. We're going to get Hollow Knight, Metroid, hopefully. Like, we're not done, and I think you could assemble a pretty good top 10 right now. You know what I mean? A top 10 for 2025 would be pretty respectable right now. And we got probably like 4 to 7 more games that could make a top 10 still to go. So you could probably get a really good top 15 out of this year, which some years you can't. Some years you could really only get like a top 10, or a top 5, depending on how what you view. Okay, we're going to wrap up in just a second. Oh, Weezer. I love Weezer. Weezer's really good. Really good. My music heavier, but it's not bad. Yeah, I really like Weezer. Rivers Cuomo has a really good voice, even live. Really good voice. Bully 2. Yeah. That's one of my dream games. Probably it's up there. Whoop. Hopefully the success of the new Mafia means we get some. I hope so. Oh man, I hope so. That's the lesson, it needs to teach. I don't know if it'll do it, but I hope it does teach that lesson. That's best never hands down. I hated but well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad it made you a believer in the formula. No, that's good. I really liked it. I really liked the story of Mafia. I loved the story of Expedition 33 though. I felt it was new. I know you say it's predictable. I just felt Mafia, we have seen that before, you know. It wasn't totally they did very, very good, but in terms of like things we never seen before, Death Stranding 2 did some of that stuff, but we also saw that before in Death Stranding 1. Not to say that takes away from it massively, but we did see it before. So like Expedition to me was just that is the standout, you know, like that original brand new game that's not a sequel, not a tie-in, not part of a franchise that just kind of comes in and wipes the floor with everything. That I think could be there. Phantom Blade Zero. I think that that is going to be at Gamescom. That's confirmed. Could it get the date at Gamescom? Yes, I think that's very possible. That's true. Dragon Ball, I'm doing good, buddy. How about you? Will The Witcher 4 be announced again in the event? I don't think at Gamescom. I wouldn't put it past them for like next year, us to see. I would, man, I go back and forth. Like, could The Witcher come out in 2027? Yes. Could it? Most likely it's 2028. So could we see it next year? Maybe, but probably within the next year. I think we'd see it. Was really good. So yeah, I think Expedition 33 is gonna sweep some awards. Well, sweeping means you kind of go through all of it. Maybe sweeping is not the right word. I think Expedition is gonna win a lot of awards. Oh yeah, Phantom Blade Zero. I think it's on my radar. I've talked about it a few times. I'm excited to play it, and I think it's on many people's radar. All right, guys, a good ending point. Hopefully, I did good following through. Do you think? Oh man, and now there's two more. Do you think we get to see more PlayStation games coming to Xbox? Yes. Yeah, I think we do. Verso didn't do it. I liked Verso. I don't want to spoil it just in case people didn't play it. I liked Verso, but I like Gustav quite a bit as well. But we'll leave it. We'll leave it there in case of spoilers. Okay. All right. No, honestly, appreciate you guys watching. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad I thought about this Gamescom idea because that was a good crowd, a lot of great questions. So thank you for being here. We'll have videos on Tuesday for Gamescom. I just can't stream it. I should be live next Friday. Let's pick something to play. Or we can just kind of talk about Gamescom or whatever we decide to do. Probably 2 weeks from now, we'll play Lost Soul Aside is kind of what I'm thinking. But next week, we'll kind of just hang out. All right. Appreciate you guys being here. Videos later today, tomorrow, Sunday. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you all on the next one.